Good morning, Helix family. Today we're going to talk about the Helix tuner. Now, if you guys have ever used your own Helix, you know that the thing is pretty flexible. You can customize it to do just about anything you want, and the tuner shouldn't be left out of that group. Now, we know that Line 6 has done a ton of updates to making sure that the tuner is as accurate as it can be, and recently I learned that I can go just one step further. Now, if you look over here, we'll see that there's a tuning that we all have seen before. It's called Strobe tuning. In particular, the Peterson company has put out one, and they built their whole business on it, of how to keep instruments in tune with themselves. Now, I learned that the Peterson Strobe tuner has what's called a sweetened tuning settings, and they have a various amount of different ones. Now, the one we're going to look at today is just the guitar and bass setting. And what I've learned at is if I can take the Strobe tuner and I can calibrate the Helix tuner into that setting, well, now I have a Peterson Strobe tuner built into the Helix. So let's go ahead and break. We'll go down to the board and we'll see what I'm doing. All right, we're going to go ahead and access our tuner. And this is a screen we're mostly familiar with. We have input, output, reference, type, trails, and offset. Now, normally the offset is set to off, and we have our type set to whatever you've programmed it in, whether it be fine, coarse, or strobe. I personally like the strobe. It gets me in the ballpark the closest. Now, what I find is if we turn our offset on, we now have all of our options for customizing it, somewhere like the Variax, where we can now calibrate each string to be tuned differently. Now, on the Peterson Strobe tuner, the sweetened tunings that we're going to use is for guitar and bass. And I found that if I put -1, 0, -1, -1, -3, and -3, that gets me the closest to that Peterson Sweetened tuning. And now, instead of having a Helix tuner, I have a Strobe Peterson Sweetened tuning. And these can be changed off and on to whatever you need it to be. But this is a really cool tip to get a new tuner built into the board. Now, I do have a TC Electronics Polytuner on my board, and I use it quite often, and I've used it for years. Now, in the hope of making my board shrink down to just the floor Helix, where I'm not using additional pedals and foot stomps and everything like that, I don't want to take a heavier board because of Voodoo Power Supplies. I just want to take the Helix and everything I need with it. This is a great way of doing that. One more step to customizing your Helix using different equipment, so you can take just the Helix floorboard, put it in a bag, and go and do your gig. So this is a great tip that you can use for anything else. If you have another tuner, another type of tuning you want to customize, just go ahead and utilize a different tuner, calibrate the Helix to that, and then you're all set. So if you like this video, go ahead and put a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe below, and if you have comments, leave them down below and I will get back to you guys. Alright, thanks for watching. See you later.